Today is Thursday, Parashat Ki Tetze. Parasha says in one of the psukim here, Kiti dor neder ladonai Elohecha, when you make a pledge, a vow to Hashem your God, lo te'achel l'shalomo, don't delay, don't be late in paying it. Ki darosh idreshenu Hashem Elokecha meimach, because Hashem would exact it from you. In other words, you made a pledge, whether it's to a synagogue or to an organization or to a Bet HaMikdash, you had a commitment that you made. You shouldn't delay it, you shouldn't postpone it, you should try to do it as quickly as possible. The best way in time of Bet HaMikdash, you bring it the first holiday that you meet, the first festival, and if 3 festivals pass, that would be considered already transgression or lo te'acher, do not be late. But the best is to, once a person makes a pledge or makes a commitment, that he should fulfill it as soon as possible, because if he does not, unfortunately, he puts himself or his family, chas v'shalom, at risk, and it would be better not to make a pledge than to make a pledge and not to keep it. The pasuk also says, "Motzah sefatecha tishmor." Whatever comes out from your mouth, you should fulfill, you should keep. You made a commitment, and it's of course not just for tzedakah or a pledge to an organization, but in general, when a person says that he's going to do something, he's going to show up to a meeting, he's going to fulfill a certain obligation, he made that commitment by the words of his mouth. He says, "Kimotza sefatecha tishmor," what comes out of your mouth, you should make sure tishmor, to keep, to upkeep and to fulfill the asita ka'asher, and to fulfill it. And many times people judge the person is many times judged based on how much does he fulfill the commitments that he makes. And a person who fulfills the commitments that he makes, that when he says he's going to do something, he does it. He's very much appreciated by others, and unfortunately the reverse is not something that people appreciate or relate to in a positive manner. The parasha this week, at the end of it, it has the portion that speaks about, remember what Amalek did to you when you came out from Egypt. Now, this portion is read in the second Sefer Torah in Shabbat Zachor. Shabbat Zachor is a Shabbat before Purim. When on Purim we speak and we think about the plans of Haman, who wanted to exterminate the Jews, but of course his plan was foiled, and he's the one that was hung on a beam, on a tree. But the idea is, just before Purim, we speak about Amalek because Haman was a descendant of Amalek. And we have a mitzvah to hear that portion of the Torah being read. We do it on the Shabbat before Purim, but if someone was not present in the synagogue to hear this portion read from the Sefer Torah on the Shabbat before Purim, then he gets to fulfill that mitzvah in the parasha, in the Shabbat of this week. He should come to synagogue and have in mind, as the Baal Koreh reads this portion at the end of the parasha, Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek, he should have in mind to fulfill the obligation of hearing this portion when we commanded to remember what Amalek did to us, when we came out from Egypt, that he attacked us from the rear, and through that cruelty of Amalek, but through many generations, it was not just Amalek during the time of the desert when the Jewish people were out from Egypt, but also another instance was the Nazis, the Machshema v'Zichram, that are descendants of Amalek. Also Haman was another example. So this parasha, if you haven't heard it, on the Shabbat before Purim, then come to the synagogue to make sure to hear this portion, to fulfill this mitzvah of hearing the portion being read from the Torah that tells us to remember what Amalek did. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen.